I would like to know how you can say that they have no ancestral claim to this land, and that as a white person, you can say that they cannot migrate freely and cannot use the land freely that they rightfully own and have for thousands of years.
Well, Mike, I'd like you to be more specific.
Alright guys, welcome back to another banger video. Today we have Michael Knowles back again, and today he's destroying a leftist professor on a college campus, absolutely leaving him speechless. So let's get right into the video.
I'm a full-time professor here. I also am Italian American, and I happen to agree with the protester in the back.
Well, I have to say, as a professor, that you would come. I really appreciate that, because I know students come out a lot, but professors don't always come out to hear opposing points of view, so that's a wonderful thing.
It's my duty.
Okay, come on, get to it, buddy.
But
I've left you speechless. I've dazzled you.
Thank you. In 1492, before a racist and genocider.
Wait. 1492. I wonder what happened in Spain in 1492. Besides Columbus leaving. Anyways, let's just keep going.
Came to this land.
Genocider.
There were people living here. Every inch of this land was occupied.
Just as a matter of history, not every inch of the land was occupied. There were huge areas that were completely wilderness.
I was quiet the entire time you spoke. Those people still exist. The North American indigenous people, Central and South American, they're still here. And I would like to know how you can say that they have no ancestral claim to this land, and that as a white person, you can say that they cannot migrate freely and cannot use the land freely that they rightfully own and have for thousands of years.
Well, Mike, I'd like you to be more specific. Which people specifically and which land specifically? Because there were lots of different peoples in the northern and southern, in North America and South America at the arrival of Christopher Columbus. So which people do you think have a claim to which land?
I'm talking about the Native Americans.
But there were many different Native American tribes.
Would you like me to name?
I hate when they say Native Americans. What do you mean Native Americans? America wasn't a thing before it was called America. What are they talking about? Native Americans. And the natives, the quote-unquote native, the indigenous people, the feathered Indians, they weren't even the first people here. There was people here before that, and it's been proven. And they try to wipe that out of history, and they try not to tell you about that. So they instill you with this white guilt. Oh, you should feel guilty that you built the best country on earth, and that you literally took the wilderness and took these, for lack of a better word, tribes of people and made a civilized, amazing country out of it. You should feel guilty about it. And this guy's a college professor, and it's the average college professor, unfortunately nowadays, who's absolutely brainwashed, who wants to brainwash the kids, obviously calling Columbus a genocider. Oh, he came here. Yeah, maybe everything they did, was it 100% justified? No, but I mean, they came. These people were obviously fighting back because they didn't know what was coming on their territory at the time. But to say he's a genocider, that's not even what happened. But let's see what he says now.
Name all the tribes?
Yes, and I'd like you to name, and the reason I would like you to name all the tribes is because there were many tribes who conquered many other tribes. So just as an example, thank you. Just as an example, the Comanche Indians come in and they conquer areas run by the Apache Indians. Now the United States comes in and it owns that land. To which tribe should that revert? To which tribe should that land revert? The Comanche, who had it before us, or the Apache, who had it before them? Moreover, for the people who still exist, you're referring to Christopher Columbus in an ahistorical way by calling him some sort of racist or some sort of genocidal maniac. The man never committed any sorts of genocide at all, and he was actually known among the Spanish explorers for his good treatment of the natives. That point is neither here nor there. And I encourage people to read biographies of Christopher Columbus because there's a lot of historical fiction out there. The point on that is that when the Spanish came to this country, and to this continent, they did create a new race known as Latinos. This is a mixture of Spaniards and Native American populations. So if we are going to revert certain land to Native populations, why would we not then immediately take that land away from them, because they also descend from Spanish explorers? In what sort of atomized way would you define your own race, your own identity? I think this is a very backwards and ultimately impossible view of personal identity that puts your stock in some particular ancestor rather than something that is larger than yourself. I think it's a madness of the modern left, and it leads to crazy policy proposals, such as saying that somebody who descends from a native population in Colombia has a right to move to any apartment he wants to in New York because of race or something. We can certainly have a response.
Thank you for not answering my question, and in the future,
I think I did answer you. How specifically could I answer your question?
If you could not lower the microphone until the person's done speaking, I think that'd be better for everyone. Thank you. That's all.
So aggressive. Oh,
so you were done speaking.
Of course, he has nothing to say. As always, you bring up some good points. You ask them to actually answer a question, and they can never do it. Never. Because they haven't thought it through. Like, I don't know what goes on in their brain, like when they hear something like that. I know the phenomenon of where if you argue against someone's belief, and you actually give them evidence that's just gonna make them believe it wrong, because people's egos are so big and they never want to admit that they were wrong. But yeah, I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Everything Michael said was obviously true. The Latino thing, though, man, that was probably one of the worst social experience in human history. If there needs to be more proof that, maybe race mixing isn't the best thing in the world, a whole continent should be probably proof enough, right? And another thing I wanted to mention about like some of those anti-ICE protesters, Christopher Columbus was a genocider. White people are, all hate us. They're all, conquerors. Just, in some part true, not the hating part, but that we did come here. We made the country better. And I mean, the natives should be glad. The natives should be glad they still have their reservations. Like, for example, in Florida, I don't remember the exact tribe, but they actually won their battles. So they have, they have a casino here. They have a decent plot of land. The Native Americans, and they make a decent amount of money from those casinos. It's not taxed. They run it how they want, and that's what they get for winning. So if you want your land, then how about you win a war? How about you actually bow? Because that's how all countries came to exist nowadays. And to say give it back to these tribes that were literally doing human sacrifices is absolutely ridiculous. To who to give it back to? If we should give it back to those tribes, then we should give it maybe to the European people who were here before that. It's a ridiculous claim, but anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think that was a pretty interesting one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and if you guys have any video recommendations or topics you want me to react or comment, put it in the comments below. And thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.